See, many of us give up when we're carrying a paralytic. Why? Because we're so prideful to think that we can carry the paralyzed person by ourselves. You can't carry that paralytic by yourself. A paralytic is practically and basically a dead weight. All the weight is on that pallet, and you think that you can carry them through their issue to position them for the miracle from Jesus Christ on your own strength. Hello, everybody. This is a story in the Bible found in Mark 2:1-11, and I want to talk to you about some parts of this story that I think will benefit you because it's benefited me in my life. I love Mark 2:11 because Jesus says to the paralytic, I want you to hear this now. He says, I say to you, get up, pick up your pallet, go home. I love that. There are so many mic drops in the Bible if you're not reading too fast. I mean, Jesus is talking to the paralytic and he says, I say to you, get up, pick up your pallet and go home. Now, the reason why I love this is because when he said, I say to you, I was thinking he's talking to me. He says, I want you to get up. In other words, you're down, but you should no longer be down. Something has happened in your life. My power has come to you and you should no longer be operating powerless. He's telling you, I want you to get up. I want you to pick up and I want you to go home. I want you to return to the place where you came from, but I don't want you to return the same way. I want you to be totally different because now you have encountered me. We have so many people who need to hear this message. Now let's relate this message to our modern day. Just critically analyze exactly what was said earlier, but now have an up-close digestion of these words. He's talking to you, meaning he's talking to the paralytic. He's talking to the person who's still stuck in disbelief. He's talking to the person who said they were going to be different this year than they were last year, but they're not. He's talking to the person who's still stuck in self-doubt, who feels they can't make a meaning of their lives. He's talking to the person that's still stuck in yesterday. He's talking to the person that's still beaten up by past circumstances. He's talking to you. He's talking to me. And he's telling you and telling me, I want you to rise now. I want you to pick up your pallet, the thing that you were carried on, the thing that was holding you, that burden that is keeping you stuck in the same spot, the thing that was keeping you in the same position. Now you should be carrying it because now you've had an encounter with me, says Jesus Christ. And so, here is the story of the paralytic. Here is our story. Here is my story. And here is your story, where Jesus had come back to Capernaum and had come into the house. And it says the house was crowded. There was a whole crowd that had come to hear a word from Jesus because they understood there's no better word than the living word preaching the written word. You can't get a better word than that. So if you know churches that are filled on Sunday, think about when Jesus was walking around giving his word. It was crowded. But understand that this miracle in Mark chapter 2 was not given to the crowd. This miracle was given to one person. So it starts out with the crowd, but only a miracle for one. Just because you're a part of the crowd doesn't mean you're going to experience Christ. Just because you're a part of the group doesn't mean you're actually going to experience the gospel. Just because you go to church on Sunday doesn't mean you get to experience the Savior. The experience of Jesus Christ means you go beyond the crowd. The only way this dude was going to experience getting up and picking up and going home differently than the way he showed up is if he was willing to go beyond the service, if he was willing to go beyond the word, if he was willing to go beyond just the worship service and being in the atmosphere on Sunday. He had to do more than that. But the question is, how does a paralytic do anything? How can a paralytic get in a position to experience the person and power of Jesus Christ? How does someone who's stuck do anything for themselves to get to where they need to be to experience a miracle from Jesus Christ? Now, I want you to think about the question that I'm asking you, because a paralytic means stuck. So let's talk about recognizing and overcoming paralysis. It's crucial to understand that being stuck is not just a physical condition. It can be emotional, spiritual, or even mental. You see, acknowledging that you are stuck is the first step towards overcoming it. And overcoming it, well, that requires action, faith, and sometimes a little help from others. You have to be willing to take that first step, even if it feels impossible. First, let me back up and just let you know that you are a paralytic. A lot of times when I talk about this story, people are always looking around like, who's the paralytic? Who's the paralytic? It isn't me. I'm not paralyzed. In some area in your life, listen, if you're in the same place this year that you were last year, you're paralyzed. If you're still struggling in your marriage in the same circumstances that you've been struggling in the last few years, your marriage is paralyzed. If you're still telling yourself, I'm going to be different, but the difference never comes, you're paralyzed. If you are not moving forward or progressing, whether in your finances, career, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, just think about any area of your life that is being retarded. If your mind is saying something like, I don't need to be in this situation, I don't need to be in this relationship, I don't need to be going to these same places, I don't need to be dealing with these same people, I don't need to be talking the same way, I don't need to be treating my spouse this way, and your mind says it, your mind is telling you there needs to be movement, but there is no movement. That is literally the definition of a paralyzed person. Their mind can think it, but their body can't do it. You're paralyzed. Paralysis is absolutely beyond the physical. You are the paralytic that he's saying, we need to go beyond just the crowd. We actually have to do more than just Sunday service. We have to do more than just hear a video like the one you're listening to. There has to be another step that's taken in order to experience the person and power of Jesus Christ. So what happened in this story to put the paralytic in a position to experience a miracle from the person and power of Jesus Christ? Simple. If you look at verse 3 of Mark 2, it says this, and they came bringing him a paralytic carried by 4 men. Here it is. A paralytic, number 1, has to recognize they're paralyzed. Number 2, a paralytic has to be willing to be carried. Number 3, a paralytic cannot be prideful. Because if a paralytic is prideful, a paralytic will always stay private. If a paralytic is prideful, which makes them stay private, they will never be able to get around the right people. If a paralytic is prideful, which makes them stay private, which means they never get around the right people, they will never get in a position to experience the person and power of Jesus Christ. So if you want the power and the person of Jesus Christ, you have to be in a position. The only way you can get in position is if you have the right people. The only way you can get to the right people is if you aren't private about your stuff. And the only way you're not going to be private is if you're not prideful. In this part of our journey, we explore the profound themes of humility, help, and the process of healing. You know, humility often serves as the first step towards seeking help. It's that moment when we acknowledge our limitations and reach out for support. And, well, it's through this act of reaching out that the healing process truly begins. Healing is rarely a solitary endeavor. It's a path we walk with others, guided by compassion and understanding. Let's take a closer look at how these elements intertwine and shape our experiences. What I know about this paralytic is that he wasn't too proud to beg. What I know about this paralytic is that he was willing to say what many of us will not say. I need help. Most of us won't say it. Most of us are too proud to recognize that you're stuck. Number 1, you're too proud to recognize that you need help. You're too proud to recognize that you need to be carried in order to be able to experience the power of Jesus Christ. A stuck person can't walk. A paralytic can't get himself anywhere. A paralytic needs assistance in order to put them in a position to experience a miracle. So number 1, you must recognize that you're a paralytic. Without the recognition that you're a paralytic, you're in trouble and you're going to stay stuck. Number 2, you must make sure that you're willing to be carried. And the only way you're going to be willing to be carried is if you're not prideful. And so if you understand these 3 things, you're a paralytic, you're willing to be carried, you're not too proud to be, now you're able to get in a position. Now you're able to go where you need to go to be helped, to go through the process of getting to Jesus. Now let me help you understand this. It is a process to get your miracle. Most people skip verses 4 in Mark 2. You've got to follow this, being unable to get to him because of the crowd. Well, we can't do this the normal way. I'm paralyzed. They were obviously able to walk in here. I wasn't. Being unable to get to him because of the crowd, they removed the roof above him and they dug an opening to let him down, to let the pallet down and to let the paralytic down on the pallet. Okay, I don't know if you heard that. Being unable to get to him because of the crowd, they removed the roof above him. And when they had dug an opening, they let down the pallet on which the paralytic was laying. This, ladies and gentlemen, is called a process. I will continue the detailed process in my next video. If you want to have the concluding part of this series, comment, like, and share this video. See you next time.